Tonight on Joy News Prime, heavy security presence at some beaches in Accra as the Ghana Police Service moves to enforce COVID-19 restrictions as part of efforts to contain the spread of the virus.
Today is Good Friday. We are here. Tomorrow we'll be here till maybe Tuesday. You know, Easter peak is Monday.
Speaker of Parliament Alban Bagbin describes LGBTQI+ practices as an abomination to Ghanaian culture and must never be accepted in this country.
We legislate to, as we said, ensure that our culture and traditions are not violated. Definitely, that is something that we see as an abomination. It is something that we abhor, and therefore we'll continue to go according to our culture.
Also, the NDC says bye-bye to former Central Regional NDC Chairman ALLOTEY Jacobs after schnapps pouring and crocodile eggs breaking ceremony in Cape Coast. Later in this bulletin, two rival chiefs in the Cherponi district jailed 2 months after a violent clash between their supporters led to death of one person.
Stated that the maximum sentence to give for the kind of offense we have put before the court against them is 1 year. But he's been lenient enough to give them 3 months, without hard labor.
And 6 students in Tantanle in the northern region built bungalows as part of moves to retain teachers posted there.
Some of the teachers doesn't want to accept posting to this area. At the moment, only 3 teachers will be housed. We needed more than that, but due to lack of funds, this is the only one we can't construct for now.
We are live from our studios in Kokomilimle on your digital terrestrial TV because we're free to air on DSTV channel 421 and Go TV channel 144. Remember, this is your home of independent, fearless and credible journalism. Do stay tuned in.
Joy News Prime Headlines was brought to you by...
Many thanks for choosing us. My name is Aisha Ibrahim. Let's begin with the police that say they will continue to maintain their presence at beaches in Accra until after the Easter holidays. Beaches have been shut down, but government, as part of measures to contain the spread of COVID-19, in the past, some revelers had flouted the directive, leading to heavy police presence at these beaches for this Easter holidays. My colleague Kwekwa Sante was at the Labadi Beach Resort and Osikan Resort, and he has filed this report.
On holidays, beaches around the country, especially in the capital, will be bustling with hundreds of revelers having fun and making merry. This Easter holidays, the situation is different. The beaches are now quiet with security presence. This follows the president's directive that beaches remain closed as a preventive measure against the spread of COVID-19. The police say they will continue to maintain the presence until after the holiday season.
We have been here since 6 a.m. You can see Marine Police is here, FPU is here, CTU is here, Accra Regional Police Command, some personnel are here, La District Police Command, some personnel are here. Together, we want to ensure that the place is safe. Nobody is allowed in. Since we came here, quite a number of people have been here trying to enter with all sort of explanation that they operate bars and restaurants. So they want to go there. Some even say they want to go and off their lights and other things. But they are aware that no beach activity. So we tell them and then some go, but some keep on explain. But since nobody is there, who are you going to sell to? Today is Good Friday. We are here. Tomorrow we'll be here till maybe Tuesday. You know, Easter peak is Monday. Where normal times you come here, churches, group, clubs, people come here and come and make fun, have their club activity and all those things. But since they are aware ban on beach We are here to ensure nobody comes and have their gathering or whatever.
Meanwhile, operators of these beaches want government to relax the rules so they can operate, but with adherence to other preventive protocols.
We've got restaurants, bars in there, and they are supposed to operate. But since they are located at the beach, the police are not allowing them to go in there and have access to their premises. So that's the situation here. They are not operating. They've been shackled.
Ordinarily on such a holiday, the queues would have been forming. In terms of impact, and as managers of this beach, how is this hitting?
Yeah, that also is very obvious. The economic implication, you can think of it. But we are in a very serious situation, and we are appealing to the authorities. Something had to be done about this. The earlier, the better, because we are suffering. We've sat down for more than a year now, and the situation isn't changing. So we are appealing to the authorities to do something about it.
So if you say you want something to be done, what do you want to be done?
Either the authorities speed things up in the provision of the COVID vaccine, or they should do something about packages and everything so that we can operate. We are prepared to adhere to the COVID protocols. You can see, we've already marked if there is a queue, you can see it out there. And the Veronica buckets and sanitizer, we got everything to operate. If they will allow us to adhere to the protocols and operate, we'll be very glad.
So this is how the La Pleasure Beach Resort is looking like on a holiday like this. Ordinarily on a day like this, on an Easter holiday like this, being a Friday also, this place would have been packed to capacity with a number of revelers having fun and making merry and celebrating the holiday. But the situation is different this time as it has been for a while now. And so as you can see, these red symbols, these red stamps are signs that nobody should cross those lines. And also you could see that welcome to La Pleasure Beach Hotel, no swimming. And so this place is empty. But this situation is completely different and will remain so until the country has a lid on the spread of COVID-19. The President, Nana Akufo-Addo, in his Easter address, as well as a statement that was released by the Greater Accra Regional Ministry, saying that these beaches will remain closed. Of course, in past holidays, the situation had been slightly different, where although the beaches were supposed to remain closed, a number of people were still coming in. But today, because of the heavy police presence here at the La Pleasure Beach Resort, as well as other beaches, the situation is different.
That was my colleague Kwekwa Asante. Maxwell Agbagba also monitored the situation at the beaches closer to the central region and has more.
Westbound section on the Accra-Kaswa Highway, the usual traffic that you see on a holiday is conspicuously missing today. On this stretch, this Kokrobite Road, usually you find a lot of cars, coming towards this direction, some of them coming to the Bojo Beach. But that is not happening today. So right in front of the Bojo Beach Resort, we have about 20 police officers, 20 armed police officers who are standing here today ensuring that people do not get access to this beach. I'm told that these men are actually drawn from the formed police unit. They're coming from Accra, the headquarters itself, and they've been stationed here since morning. Information we're picking up is that they are going to be here till Monday, because they know that Monday is the peak of the Easter celebrations, and they believe that a lot of people will be trooping here to the beach, especially on Mondays.
Hello, good afternoon. My name is Prashant. I have been to this beach a couple of times, Bojo Beach. I like it very nice. It is very nice. But today they have closed it, and we respect about their culture, and still we are happy. We are just hanging around over here. We are having some drinks. We are just chilling, and I really liked it. It is fine. I think like they should put some restrictions to avoid coronavirus. Yes, and I think Ghanaian government is doing very well to avoid all the cases and to put some restrictions, so corona will not spread at that level what it has been to Europe, America and India. So I'm really happy about it, and I give a big vote of thanks to Ghanaian government for doing this.
A family that was turned away, I spoke to the man who drove them here. He said they came all the way from Dansoman, and he says that temperature is very high and his children are restless, so they thought that they could come to the beach to cool off today, especially because it's a holiday. But he was left disappointed. They came in their swimsuits ready to, swim in the ocean, but they were not given the opportunity. I asked him whether he listened to the president's address yesterday. He said he listened to it, but he did not think that police officers will be here strictly enforcing that directive from the president.
I'm Prince Paul. Personally, I think it's a harsh one, especially during this time, because I think the vaccine is in, and businesses have been suffering since March last year, especially the hospitality industry. So if the decision of the government is to enforce the COVID regulations on the hospitality industry, I think it's a bit harsh because they are taxpayers as well. And just last year, we saw the political parties go about do their business without any harassment or hesitation of that sort. And mind you, these political parties pool numbers in thousands. And we are talking of businesses that attract hundreds. So I think based on just normal logic, I think it's not fair. So we need to look for ways and means to address that issue so that the taxpayers, the businesses that are paying tax to support the government will be in a better position to also run during this period.
It is an empty beach. Bojo Beach is one of the busiest places, especially on holidays. You have a lot of revelers trooping here to have fun at this beach, but that is not happening here today. The only people allowed access to the beach, as you can see, some fishermen who are pulling their nets just some distance from here. Just some minutes ago, a truck full of soldiers just left this place, but still stationed here though and still maintaining a presence here. Our personnel drawn from the formed police unit. This is having a toll and suffocating the businesses dotted along the coastlines here at Kokrobite.
Let's talk more on COVID-19. The National House of Chiefs has joined calls for stricter adherence to COVID-19 safety protocols in the period of Easter. This comes after the police reiterated enforcement of ban on mass gatherings and adherence to all safety protocols, especially the wearing of nose mask. Nanaya Ojima was at the meeting of the House of Chiefs in Kumasi and filed this report.
Adherence to COVID-19 protocols has dipped in recent days. As part of measures to check the disease spread, the House of Chiefs has asked members to prevail on their sub-chiefs to take up education on the virus. President of the House, Oji Ahoho Yaojebi II, believes the involvement of chiefs in public education would help avert abuse of safety protocols this Easter period.
Nanano, as we are all aware, the government has procured a number of the COVID-19 vaccines to vaccinate against the deadly virus. I will therefore entreat all Nanano to educate their subjects to actively take the vaccination exercise very seriously, as it is one of the measures taken to reduce the rate of infection. Again, I would like to entreat members to continue their advocacy for continuous practicing of the protocols in their various towns to stem the spread of the infection.
Meanwhile, the House is moving meetings online to reduce the risk of members contracting the virus.
Now, the advancement in technology requires that we enhance our information technology skills and move towards globalization. It's against this background that this administration is in the process of lobbying various institutions to come to the aid of the House, procure laptops for all members and staff of the House. The acquisition of these laptops will no doubt expose them to the new technology, especially in the area of COVID-19, which can indeed encourage us to meet or discuss issues as often as possible in the comfort of our homes.
2 new members were sworn into the House. For Joy News, Nanaya Ojima reporting.
And away from COVID-19, the Speaker of Parliament has rejected a request by the Australian High Commissioner to Ghana to not pass legislation against LGBTQI practices in Ghana. During a visit to the Speaker, Gregory Andrews indicated that any attempt by Ghana's Parliament to enact or pass legislation to discriminate against the rights of LGBTQI+ community and any form of advocacy will be disappointing. His request is coming at a time of intense national opposition to homosexuality in the country.
But that has been a part of culture and continues to be a part of culture here in Africa, but also in Australia among our Indigenous communities. So Australia, like Ghana, has outlawed female genital mutilation. So we believe to protect human rights, sometimes our culture needs to adapt. And that doesn't mean being a different culture, it just means accepting people for who they are when they're not causing any harm to anyone else. And so that's why on the LGBTQ+ issue, for example, Australia, we would really encourage Ghana's Parliament not to pass legislation that would discriminate against the LGBT community or remove their human rights, or to ban or make it illegal for people to advocate for their human rights. We would find that disappointing. But that's just to explain the position that we're coming from. And I really do thank you very much for the warm welcome today. And Ghana is a beautiful, warm, friendly, peaceful country. And when I wanted to take my family somewhere, the three requirements we had was somewhere that's safe, somewhere with good schools, and somewhere that's culturally enriching. And so that's why I chose to bring my family here to Ghana. And I know Claire's just finishing a 3-year posting here in Ghana, and she'll be very sad to leave in about a week and a half. Yeah.
But Speaker of Parliament Alban Bagbin says homosexuality remains an abomination in Ghana.
The issue of the LGBTQI+, definitely we already have a legal framework within which to work. We will not legislate to infringe the human rights of people, but definitely we will legislate to, as we said, ensure that our culture and traditions are not violated. Definitely, that is something that we see as an abomination. It is something that we abhor, and therefore we will continue to go according to our culture. We will definitely not want to go to Europe and try to impose on them something like polygamy. We will not do that. And I don't think that what you're doing, it's a matter of advocacy. And we need to be clearer, like you have done today. We have to be clearer on how we put across our message. Nobody will do anything to violate the human rights of any person. That is not the purpose of the legislation. But the purpose of the legislation will be actually to save and enhance and secure our own values, our principles, the cultural ethos of the Ghanaian. And that is where the legislation will be. And so, as you have succeeded in Australia to be able to gel the few of you that are now alive with the other tribes that have come to the country. So it is that Ghana will also go along that line. So I don't think that will disappoint you. But we will also not disappoint ourselves, as we move along as a unique type of creation. And that's what we want the youth, our children, to grow up to. And as you said, you see that my colleagues are following you seriously, and they admire the way you go about things. And they even have told us how you pick the young girl and leave the young girl for a day. That is how we should live together as one people with one destiny. So definitely we got the message, we'll do our best, but we expect that others will also respect our culture and traditions.
Alban Sumana Kingsford Bagbin is Speaker of Ghana's Parliament. And to some politics, former Central Regional NDC Chairman Bernard ALLOTEY Jacobs dramatically kicked out of the party after a schnapps pouring and crocodile eggs breaking ceremony in Cape Coast. Some NDC women in the Central Region used brooms symbolically to sweep him off the party, insisting their former regional chairman has been nothing but a traitor who has sold the party to the NPP. Richard Kwejonyaku witnessed this formal parting away ceremony and has filed this report.
Spokesperson for the women, Ikua Halem, who led the news conference, warned the former Central Regional Chairman of the party, Bernard ALLOTEY Jacobs, to stay away from the NDC and also refrain from disrespecting the party's leader, John Mahama, and the entire party. The branch women's organizer accused him of being ungrateful to the NDC and the former president. To the women here, Mr. Jacobs is like an ungrateful individual who has enriched himself using the party, but now has the effrontery to bite the fingers that fed him.
ALLOTEY Jacobs.
ALLOTEY Jacobs is the camel we are talking about today. Just like the camel, he only came into the NDC to eat, and after eating, he wants to misbehave, destroy the party. Now that he's filled his tummy, he wants to destroy the party, but the women here in the NDC will not allow him to do that. Mr. Jacobs rode on the back of John Mahama to become the regional chair, and after succeeding, he wants to tarnish the image of GM, but we shall resist it with all our might. After convincing us to vote for him using John Mahama's name, he became a regional chairman who could only boast of 3 seats in the region of 23 constituencies. Meanwhile, his predecessor, Edu Yeboah, had won 16 seats during his chairmanship. This is the kind of person we are talking about. Amidst the singing of Asafo songs, the women used the broom to literally sweep him off the party. They praised the party leadership for expelling him from the party. According to them, the former regional chairman should have been given the sack a long time ago. The women used a bottle of schnapps and 3 eggs of the crocodile to invoke curses on their former regional chair, Richard Kwejonyaku, Joy News, Cape Coast.
From the NDC to the NPP, supporters of the NPP in the Nalerego Gambaga constituency of the Northeast region are calling for a total overhaul of the party leadership at the constituency level following the 2020 election defeat. The supporters are demanding the removal of all the constituency executives from office and also an apology from the presidency and the defeated MP Haji Alima Mahama for contributing to the poor performance of the party in the just ended election. Correspondent Ilyasu Tanko has more.
The Nalerego Gambaga constituency predated the Fourth Republic and had been controlled by the NDC until 2004 when the NPP broke the chain with Haji Alima Mahama, who came into political light in 2000. The constituency capital, Nalerego, hosts the Nairi, the Mampurugu seat of power, as well as capital of the newly created Northeast region. The biggest market in the region is located in the constituency at Bintiri, as well as several regional state installations. Haji Alima Mahama emerged again from a hotly contested internal primaries to win the seat in 2016 by scoring 53.78% of the total valid votes. She was appointed Minister for Local Government and Rural Development and became a powerful authority figure with high stakes across the region, notably for her role in the creation of the new regions. Within the constituency, she was also credited with the establishment of second cycle schools, construction of roads, and provisions of jobs opportunities. but she lost the elections in 2020 following yet another chaotic and acrimonious internal contest, polling just 28,638 votes against the NDC's candidate, who won by 34,045 votes. The NDC also won the presidential votes in the constituency, with former President Mahama scoring 31,524 votes against President Akufo-Addo's insufficient votes of 29,123. So what could have caused the defeat of Haji Halima Mahama and the New Patriotic Party in such an embarrassing feat, despite the numerous infrastructure and human development in the constituency? To better understand the situation, we divided the 6 zones of the constituency into half and interviewed the party grassroots members and executives in Nalirgu, Gambaga, and the Gbintri zones.
The fall of the MPP party in our constituency is as a result of the sighting of the regional capital. When you have hope and you are assured of getting something and you lose it at the end, it's like what Imam really do will say you are ashamed. You have the belief that you are going to be the first, and at the end you are sent to the back. That is why the MPP party cannot stand in this constituency. And our first belief goes to the MP.
That's our problem. And they say the first blame Chandler the MP Sani. The MP and soon first blame to Zanwan Zalutali.
The sighting of the regional capital at Nalirgu was an unpardonable crime committed by Haji Halima Mahama and the MPP government.
Almost everybody put the blame on our MP. And you know, it's not today that we know Gambaga to be the district capital. And naturally, people, we just build the confidence and then the trust that since it was the district capital, it's natural the president will elevate it to the regional status. And because we didn't get that, we felt disappointed.
So the
if the government has plans for the rise of the MPP party in this constituency, I think if he put it the 2CC, that is Gambaga Nalego, it would be better.
And so to come in this bulletin, 2 rival chiefs in the Chereponi district jailed 2 months after a violent clash between their supporters led to the death of 1 person.
That the maximum sentence to give for the kind of offense we have put before the court against them is 1 year. But he's been lenient enough to give them 3 months, without hard labor.
And later in this bulletin, students in Tantale in the northern region built bungalow as part of moves to retain teachers posted there.
Some of the teachers doesn't want to accept posting to this area. At the moment, only 3 teachers will be housed. We needed more than that, but due to lack of funds, this is the only one we can't construct for now.
There is more when we return from this break with business when Charles Aite takes over.
And welcome to Business with me, Charles Aite. Now, the principal street of Osu, which is known for its business craze during the holidays, was nothing but a ghost town due to COVID-19 restrictions amid the Easter celebrations. And this was imposed on pubs and other related businesses. Also, the Labadi Beach, the bars that usually meet holidays, such as the Easter celebration, was overshadowed by the police presence there as they enforce COVID-19 protocol. My colleague Nicholas Brown visited these areas and brought us some sights and sounds from what he saw. Flip side, the Labadi Beach Hotel is experiencing a pickup in business activity. The managing director of Labadi Beach Hotel, David Eduafo, spoke to Joy Business.
Last year was total shutdown. So this year, I think it's happening well. We're getting some patronage for Easter.
Do you think it could have been better?
Of course, it could have been better because don't forget that there is a ban on parties, there's a ban on weddings. And so, yes, people are mindful. And so the fun is there, but not as it used to be.
Well, let's still stay on Easter celebrations and COVID restrictions because managers of Bojo Beach have called for a review of the deployment of police personnel at the entrance of the beach centers and beach fronts. Speaking to Maxwell Agbagba, manager of Bojo Beach, Blessing Alan Muzenda stated that the company has run down in revenue and the government must reconsider its decision.
If it was well communicated, okay, the beach was closed. We got no problem with that. We closed the beach according to the government regulation, okay? But they should allow us only to open the mainland. There's a restaurant right here, okay? The hotel as well. There's a restaurant over there. Even if people don't come for accommodation, but the restaurant itself. Try that, we did. So there should be probably prior assessment as we closed, which other things which might remain open and all that. But as we stand, right now the police by the main gate, they are shunning everybody away.
And that's how we end business with me, Charles Aite, for this segment.
Good evening and welcome to Sports on Prime. I am Muftau Nabila Abdullahi. After 3 weeks hiatus, the Ghana Premier League is officially back. And it was Great Olympics and Midiama SC who opened the campaign. And it was Samuel Ashikwe who scored the only goal to ensure that Great Olympics ended the game with a 1-0 win over Midiama SC to go top of the league table with 33 points.
That 1-0 win over Dreams. There is the kickoff. Here is Glasson Awako. And he tries to pick out Joshua Rue. Would this be the first goal for Olympics? Rule again, straight to the waiting arms of Oforienchi. Lovely dummy from Udasiru. Here is Kwe. Can he score? Kwe! Beautiful goal. Olympics are up by 1-0. Awesome. Olympics 1, Midiama 0.
You know, goalkeeper Boateng couldn't really set himself up at a time where the strike was being taken and right through his legs into the back of the net. Brilliant stuff for Olympics.
That's a good try from Joshua Rue. Good save, Boateng, and it falls to Mudasiru. Goes with a left-footed cross, and it goes to the goalkeeper. He loses out. Quay! Good header by Dan Argent to prevent the goal. Good defending. Toure. He's got space. Let's see what he does. Toure tries to switch. This could be the equalizer. Good save from Banasari. Akwesi Donsu looks for the run of Ahmed Toure. Is Toure up against Sergio Toure's header, but it's feeble. Intelligent movement of power.
Take a look at the run he's making. Making a run in between these two centre backs, and that is how intelligent he is. He's always on the move. Once you find him, he can always make something happen. On this occasion, the header is not flipping up.
Akamenko. Glasson Awaku. Good pass to Aqua. Ejeni Mwatsin to Prince Oboko Ajiman. He finds Ahmed Toure. Here is Toure. Straight to Benasari.
You know, shake his man off. Therefore, it's just right through the middle. Goalkeeper in the right.
Awako again to Saki. Can he deliver a good cross? He does. Nearly an own goal, but he ended up as a very good.
All you need to do is to put the ball in a good area and ask your attackers to get onto the end of it. What a ball this is.
Head coach of Great Olympics, he is Arno Walker. He is pleased with the performance of his team despite an altercation between his keeper Glasson Awako and centre-back Setri in the first half when the team was defending a free kick.
Fantastic. You saw it for yourself. They were having good midfielders, but my boys showed they are also of a class of themselves. So it was a good midfield from both teams. I knew they are having more experience and more intelligent strikers, which I know of. The 3 forwards, and he started with 2 before he changed to 3 attackers. So I told Sechere and Razak and Amza not to give Toure a chance to even control a ball. And you can see what they were doing. And they did exactly what I asked them they should do. And Toure was out from the game. And the coach will tell you.
Yeah.
Even I heard him talking to him. So I believe my boys have done a good job.
Finally then, what about what happened between Sechere and Awaku? I'm sure at halftime you had an idea what happened. Can you give us insight?
In the dressing room, I heard Awaku was talking to Sechere, and he was not taking Awaku's instruction, which I have asked them, Awaku, when I'm out, Awaku should instruct them. So when he was not taking instructions, and he's asking him to go back and defend, he was not going. That's why he rushed on him and asked him, go and defend. I said, go and defend. That was all. But when we went to the dressing room, I was able to talk to them.
Amazing.
I think I started talking to them, which we all saw.
Yeah.
To the dressing room, and I settled it, and they came back and they did.
The opposite coach this afternoon was Yao Preko. He said it was a difficult pill to swallow after losing that game. But now let's go and do something on matches that will be happening tomorrow. One of the teams that will play is Techiman 11 Wonders, and they and Ibisua Dwarfs coaches Ignatius Osefosu and Ernest Thompson. They say that leading their respective teams to finish in the top 4 at the end of the season is a success. The two teams will play Asante Kotoko and Elmina Sharks respectively on match day 18 of the football season, and have been speaking about their targets for the second round. There's more in the following report. Most clubs have had to re-strategize their plans for the ongoing Ghana Premier League after realizing that the competition was more difficult than they anticipated. One of such clubs is Techiman 11 Wonders, who had a phenomenal start to the new football season. However, after the end of the first round of the competition, they found themselves below mid-table. Head coach of the team, Ignatius Osefosu, says the focus of the club is to ensure that they maintain their status as a Ghana Premier League team at the end of the season.
I think we have set targets. We wanted to win the league if possible, but clearly where we are now, we want to first amass a lot of points to carry on with the season. We hope that if all things barring everything, we want to take games after games, and after the season we want to know where we are. But clearly now we want to reach the top 4. If we reach the top 4, I think we will be satisfied with what we have seen in the first round.
Another dominant side after the first round of the competition was Ibisua Dwarfs. Ernest Thompson, head of the technical team of the club, tells Joy Sports their target is to finish among the top 6 of the domestic top flight teams.
Well, actually, before the commencement of the league, we set a target for ourselves that by the close of the league, or the league comes to an end, we should be in the top 6. And that is still our target that we have set. At the end of the first round, we are now placed 9th, which actually we weren't too pleased with, because we lost certain matches that we should have won and then drew others too. And that is why we are now at the 9th position, which actually isn't bad. It's an average performance. And we are hoping to build on that to achieve that target that we set for ourselves.
Ibisua Dwarfs will face regional rivals Elmina Sharks. Techiman 11 Wonders will host Asante Kotoko at the Ohene Amayo Park on match day 18 of the new football season. The first encounter between the two teams ended in 1-1 stalemate at the Accra Sports Stadium. Meli Club. That's all time will permit us here for sports, but there's more sports on all our social media handles. That is on Twitter, Instagram, and on Facebook, and also on the My Joy Online website. You have a lot of stories to read. Thanks very much for your company. We'll be back after an hour to bring you more stories here on Prime. I am Muftau Nabila Abdullah.
Welcome back to Joy News Prime to the rest of our stories. A man with his wife and 4 children, including a 4-year-old girl, had been rendered homeless after armed men forcibly evicted them and demolished their home at Boko in the Upper East region. Tanko Akologo, a private businessman, says he barely escaped death with his family after the assailants attacked his home last Sunday morning. He suspects a private developer with whom he has a dispute over a piece of land was behind the attack. Correspondent Albert Sorry has more.
Tanko Akologo is a private businessman based in Boko. He says last Sunday morning, a group of men besieged his home at the Gingande suburb of Boko, wielding hammers, and chased him out together with his wife and 4 children.
A lot of them were holding hammers, some were holding metal bars, some were holding ping axes, and we attempted to do a video, and one of them shouted that they should take our phones from us. So I had to run to the roadside and I stopped it.
According to Tanko, once he managed to escape with his family from the house, the assailants proceeded to destroy his properties and later pull down the walls of the house.
So they started breaking the house down, and I just quietly pulled my children and my wife out, and we stood there and watched them demolish our house and destroy the house. As we speak, the children are with me in Bolga here because they can't go to school. My wife and I are no more working, and their colleagues are going to school. These are vulnerable.
He suspects that a private developer with whom he has a land dispute was behind the attack.
I could trace it to a land dispute that has been lingering for some time now, since last year. I secured an injunction, an interlocutory injunction against him, asking him to stop work, and I could continue with my business. To the best of my knowledge, it is the injunction that triggered some form of anger. So they planned with his agents and assigns to be able to come and do this thing to me. So I will not be able to come back to the shop to operate whilst he remains to work there.
Tanko Akologo says he reported the matter to the police, who assisted him to escape with his family from Boko to Bolgatanga, where they are currently seeking temporary shelter with a friend.
And that's how we part company on Joy Prime, but you can log on to myjoyonline.com to read more of our stories. These are some of the headlines you will find on myjoyonline.com. Rumble style, the rest of David Tamaklo worrying Dafia Makbo. There are a lot more stories there when you log on to Joy Online. There are updates of all the developing stories. The news continues on Joy News. Welcome back to Joy News Prime. Now to the rest of our stories. But why will the mother be led to nearly kill her own daughter? And this report, Bono East correspondent Anna Sabit explores why many people misunderstand dual diagnosis of autism and Down syndrome and often brand children with the conditions as spirit children. To mark World Autism Day, we have this special report.
20-year-old Beatrice, also known as Mami B, is an autistic child, currently in primary 5. Just like any other child with autism spectrum disorders, Beatrice, since childhood, has been having difficulty with social interactions with others, unusual interest in objects, under or overreaction to one or more of the 5 senses, amongst others. Her mother, Mame Abna Mensah, shares with me some horrifying experiences she went through raising her 5th child. I was told I gave birth to a spiritual child. In fact, I went through a lot. My neighbors insulted me and accused me of being paid back for my bad deeds. Sometimes I question God for giving me this child, but I know this is a test from God. In her quest to find the right medication for Mommy B's ailments, Abna Mansa met a man who promised to help her kill her own child with the belief that the child is a curse to the family.
Last be me wo na ma bi bai ta fa bedu ye no wo chia me no say akra no betima boa me na me so ne asa na dawroma so betima boa me asa me na akra na te fama no wontime nante no so betima boa me wo kwan bi so.
One man visited me and promised to help, and he said he'll take me to a man who will help me. He'll make me buy some items which will be mixed with some concoctions, and after giving it to the child, he'll sleep for a while and die in the process.
Na wode adrobia fra mrosanimo na wode ama akorano ndiso onoma obeda nti sabe wonu tama wo ni mra akorano so kwa akohwe no be na akorano ayanyamede.
Abna Mansa, a mother of 5, lost her husband 7 months ago. She's afraid that in her absence, her autistic child may have a gloomy future. As a result, she's currently poised to give her daughter some formal education. She tells me that parents of children with autism pass through a lot of trauma and deserve to be supported.
Na matna se hu se se me kasa wantena fie na me ko na woni machi a e bi betima ba se na ya papa ne ko ye sa na me ko eja ya ba sa ba ya
de father died 7 months ago. I may follow him soon. So I want authorities to support these children and their parents.
Na do a ye be na betena so me se sa ankora we omwa omo nya me nko a medie.
In Ghana, for instance, autism is often compounded by cultural stigma. The causes in many cases attributed to the supernatural, and these attitudes prevent early diagnosis since help is often sought out from traditional or religious leaders rather than from a medical practitioner. Dr. Jacqueline Asibi, a senior specialist pediatrician at the Techiman Holy Family Hospital, shares with me some of the characteristics of autistic children.
Autism or autism spectrum disorder, that's its other name. Yes, it's a group of condition that is characterized by certain challenges. And some of the challenges the children face are in respect to social skills. They have repetitive behaviors that they go through, and then they have problems with speech and non-verbal communication. At least around 1 year, if you call every child, it will respond. But this child, you see that persistently you call the name, he doesn't respond. And then they prefer not to be cuddled. They don't follow normal instructions. And then they do not look at somebody when you point to them. Autistic children will never point. If even you point to, they will never tend to look at.
Their management, according to Dr. Jacqueline, is difficult because they are special children who need special assistance.
Because some of them are hyperactive, and then the things I mentioned, they look odd other than the normal child. I think most of people shun away from them, or they tease them, or they think that they are not normal children. So the parents go through a lot. It's very difficult. And then with the hyperactivity, it's so difficult to manage them with that.
Whitney Hamel-Annie is the co-founder and director at Autism Compassion African NGO based in Cape Coast, providing services across Ghana and Nigeria. She joins us via Zoom. I'm grateful you joined us. Let me find out from you. A mother contemplates killing her own daughter because of autism and Down syndrome. Is this strange to you?
I wish I could say it's strange, but unfortunately it's not a story that I'm hearing for the first time. There's many stories that you hear from across the nation, not just, in rural areas, of families needing to resort to extreme measures due to lack of support, and also facing a lot of stigma from their own communities, family members, and even their religious leaders. So unfortunately, it's not a surprising story. It's a sad story, and I'm also really happy to hear that mother didn't go through with everything. So yeah, it's an important story to tell, though.
What are some of the stories that you've actually heard? You want to share some of the stories with us?
There's a handful out there. There is a documentary by the BBC that you can see on YouTube where they share about, it's titled "The Worst Place in the World to Be Disabled." And this woman actually visits an area, I believe in the Volta region, speaking with some fetish priests about how they, terminate the life of children that they call, snakes or other terrible things like that. But what we want to make sure that people understand about autism and other special needs, that these are children, these are human beings just like you and I, and they deserve the chance to life, to education, to health, just like any other child out there.
Now, the country seems to have neglected autism. As someone who has interfaced with autism in Ghana, what do you think the country is doing wrong?
I think every country has a long way to go. And Ghana is one that is still starting to become aware of children with special needs. The difficulty is there's just not support out there for families, and then they resort to these extreme measures. So what the doctor was speaking about the different causes, like the different, what are the signs of autism, things like that, like awareness, right? Like we need to do a lot more to campaign for awareness, and also combating a lot of the stigmas that are out there. Once families are able to, avoid those stigmas from their communities, then they'll be able to reach out and get the support that they need. And even for those families who do reach out, there's not a lot of support available. The government doesn't necessarily provide inclusive education as much as we would like to see, especially outside of, the different regions' capitals. Once you get outside of those capitals, there usually aren't special needs schools available that are from the public. So it really limits the resources for families.
Let's talk about solutions to these challenges. What do you advise, or where do you suggest government of Ghana, for instance, starts from?
Well, one thing I was really excited about today is to see the new MP of Education sharing about World Autism Day, and I thought that was great, and he spoke about acceptance and inclusion. So I'm hoping that with this new MP, there's new opportunities to get that conversation started. You have many universities in Ghana that offer special education courses. So there's individuals out there that are trained in special education, but there are not special educators in most of the general education schools. If a child is diagnosed with autism, they most likely are not accepted in their public school, and they're sent to a special school that may not have all the resources and teachers that they need. And not every parent can send their child to a specific regional capital. For example, in Cape Coast, there's a special needs school there. But if someone's from Salt Pond, they can't be busing their child there every day. So could we look at there being one solution that I would like to see in the future is looking at actually creating inclusive education where you have special educators that are already trained. Why not get them in the public schools, have classrooms in the public schools, and include these students? Because otherwise, many of them are at home. And they're at home, then the parents may have to be at home with them, or you hear stories of children being locked up while the parents are away at work because it's their only option, right? So how about we make it a bit easier for families?
Whitney, what are your parting words for parents whose children are autistic and are so frustrated by the situation?
I think try to find your community, try to find other parents who have been through this journey. There's quite a few amazing mothers of autistic individuals in Ghana who have started their own centers and advocate. Try to reach out to them, get the support you need, because it's tough. It's tough being a mother anyway, and then to be a mother of a child with special needs is an even another level, you know. So find that support and take one day at a time.
I'm grateful for your time. Whitney Hamilani is the co-founder and director at Autism Compassion Africa, and she's been speaking about autism. Remember, today is World Autism Day. Now, for better, for worse, that is a vow many take when they marry. But when 37-year-old woman Abu, not her real name, developed a condition suspected to be breast cancer, her husband could not endure the worst times. He kicked her out of the marital home. She's currently taking refuge with her son in a room provided by someone who sympathizes with her. Her condition is fast deteriorating, and she fears she might die, leaving her son to his fate. She's appealing for assistance to get the needed medical attention and support. Peter Seno has more.
Oftentimes, women we know stay with their husbands in times of difficult moments such as sickness. But how often do men stay with their spouses in such difficult moments of their lives, especially when the woman is down with a serious ailment such as breast cancer? According to Abu, not her real name, this condition started 8 months ago.
It started about 8 months ago. I
woke up from sleep one afternoon with a sharp pain in my breast. It was on and off with a burning sensation. It became big and hard. It later discharged and became a sore.
One day,
later, I went to see one Dr. Edem who took me to a bigger facility, but I could not do much because I do not have the money to seek further medical attention. Her husband threw her and their 9-year-old son away from home. I am married, but my husband sent my little son and myself out of the house when he realized I have this condition. She says there is really no family, as her mother, the only surviving support, has little or nothing to offer. I do not think I have a family. I lost my father. The only person I have is my mother, but she does not have the money to support. My siblings are also very young. That is why I need help and support. Getting food to eat is very difficult. Abu broke down just as the conversation started, even though she assured she would not be emotional. She shivered as I interacted with her. We are told she is anemic.
Looking at her, she's very anemic, so they requested that we should make sure she's transfused because her HB currently is 3.8.
Her condition is fast deteriorating. Abu fears she might die, and that would leave a 9-year-old boy to his fate. The sore is very painful. I cannot sleep at night. Anyone listening or watching me should kindly help. I do not want to die and leave my son. I need help. Her husband, who should support, is the one to have thrown them out of home. Rita Nalin Amaurapa is the Biakuya District Director for Health. She and her team have been providing some support until now.
We met her 3 months, barely 3 months now. And when we discussed with her, she mentioned that it started some time ago, and as at now, it's about 8 months. So when we met her, she wasn't even having insurance, so we took the pain to get her insurance. Then we brought her to Rara Hospital for them to assess and give us a conclusive decision. When we came, they referred us to Trafalgar. So we've been able to go to Trafalgar with her on our own efforts, and she has been requested to do X-ray, biopsy, and other lab investigation.
We'll take a break on Joy News Prime. We'll return with more. But before we go on that break, the Northeast Regional Security Council says it will not accept any attempt by individuals or groups to disturb the peace and stability of the region. Chairman of the Council and Regional Minister Yidana Zakari tells residents in the region to go about their daily activities without fear or intimidation. The minister was speaking to Joy News after the Nalerigu District Court on Thursday handed down a 3-month jail term to 2 rival chiefs in the Chiripone district after a violent clash between their supporters led to the death of one person. Eliasa Tanko has more.
The accused persons, Nayab Bilembile, a farmer aged 64, and Yakum Buyok, also a farmer aged 75, pleaded guilty to the charges of failing to notify the police of special events contrary to Section 1, Subsection 1, 2, and 3 of the Public Order Act 1994, Act 491. They were accordingly convicted on their own plea and sentenced to a term of 3 months each without hard labor. Prosecutor told the court the accused persons held separate encirclement events without notifying the police, leading to the deadly disturbance in the Jopal community. The court heard that the clash ensued on the 26th of this month after the encirclement of Yakum Buyok by the paramount chief of Chiripone, Femi Kofi Malba. Prior to the encirclement, the chief of Tambong had already enskined second accused Nayam Bilembele as chief of the same community. The judge, after his ruling, observed that the 2 persons were found guilty of a misdemeanor and could have faced a jail term of up to 1 year. Prosecutor had also pleaded with the court to issue a bench warrant for the arrest of the paramount chief of Chiripone and chief of Tambong for their failure to acknowledge summons to appear before the court to answer similar charges for their roles in enscaling the 2 rival chiefs for the Jopal community. The presiding judge, however, took note of the late service and them and declined to issue the warrant for the arrest, but directed that they must appear in person on the next adjourned date. The convicts were taken to the Gambaga prison to commence their prison terms, while the case was adjourned to the 8th of this month for a mention.
When they get home, they will not fight again.
The police crime officer, Superintendent Ruben Duga, spoke to Joy News.
We are satisfied. This is the court, this is the law court. The law, as they say, lies in the bosom of the judge. He has stated it that the maximum sentence to give for the kind of offense we have put before the court against them is 1 year. But he's been lenient enough to give them 3 months, without hard labor. We are okay with it. At least it will send some signal to the people in the community that you cannot, just get up and do anything and violate any law. If you do so, there will be consequences.
The Northeast Regional Minister Yidana Zakari, who recommended the arrest of the 2 rival chiefs following the violence, also spoke to Joy News after the ruling.
After the conflict, RESEC called an emergency meeting and invited the 2 factions. And the intention of RESEC was to see how we can restore peace and order in the area. So in our engagement with the two chiefs, it came out clear that they were unrepentant. In the presence of the military, the police high command, and other security agencies who are members of RISEC, they had the guts and effrontery to tell us that when they go back, they are not going to allow peace to reign. That took us by surprise. Even the presence of the military and the police was not even enough to put fear in them. It was on the basis of that RISEC took a decision that we should detain them and let the full rigors of the law apply. So that is what has brought us to where we are. And the court's giving a ruling to put them behind bars for 3 months. We will not allow a situation where the parochial interests of two people will foment violence in any parts of the Northeast region.
Accommodation continues to be a huge challenge for most teachers posted to rural schools, especially hard-to-reach communities. Most teachers posted to these schools refuse postings, and this, in many cases, continue to affect academic work. Today, we take you to the Tantale DA Primary School, where the head teacher has led an initiative with the students to build a teacher's bungalow to help retain teachers posted to his school. Northern Region correspondent Martina Bugri has more.
Brick by brick, layer by layer, they started from the beginning to the end. Alabami Nuruddin Damba, head teacher of the DA Primary School, led his pupils to build the structure. In 2008, having graduated from school, he was posted to Nauyili in Tatale without accommodation. He had to travel several kilometers from Zabzugu to Tatale to teach. That was not a pleasant encounter.
From the first experience when I was first posted in 2008, I have to ride my bicycle from Zabzugu to Nauyili for 45 minutes before I got to school. By 7, I'll be in school, and I'll be the last person to leave school. So what I went through, I did not want any teacher to also face that same experience.
Having trekked long distance and knowing how demoralizing it was, he pledged to build the quarters so that the teachers would have accommodation. Mr. Damba proposed the idea to the school's PTA, and they accepted.
When some of the teachers who were posted to my school called and asked for accommodation, I thought that it is necessary for us to put up a structure for them to stay. Then, based on this one, we thought that when they are happy and they are comfortable, the students will be happy when they teach. What actually motivated me to start the constructions may come from 3 dimensions. The first dimension is my past experience as a teacher, a newly posted teacher. And the second inspiration from the student, that is the happiness of the students. And the third one is the happiness of the teachers.
This has helped retain 3 of the teachers posted to his school, and quarters would accommodate 2 of the 3.
The reason most of the teachers doesn't accept posting to these areas includes the poor nature of the roads, lack of accommodation, lack of amenities such as water, potable drinking water, electricity, and so forth. These are some of the reasons some of the teachers doesn't want to accept posting to this area. At the moment, only 3 teachers will be housed. We needed more than that, but due to lack of funds, this is the only one we can't construct for now. So, in short, only 3 teachers will be housed for now. We are appealing to government to help us get accommodation, help us get furniture and textbooks, so that as we have accommodation to stay in, when we get back to class, we'll be able to use the textbooks and the furniture for the teaching and learning.
Quite a good initiative there. When some businesses were collapsing during the COVID era, a couple saw a need and rather built a business from it. Awo and her husband, Nee, love Mexican food. They did not want to enjoy the spicy chili food alone, so they had an idea to share, but not for free. That is what kick-started the La Cucina Mexicana at East Legon here in Accra. Hannah Odame has a story on starting a business during COVID.
One of the many social activities that I have missed doing is enjoying good meals with friends in restaurants. We all know COVID-19 has prevented us from doing so. But today on my stroll, I saw this authentic Mexican restaurant and I can't resist it. Let me go grab a bite. It's such a nice place. And of course, we have to go through our protocols. We wash our hands. That's the first thing I see. Hey, hello.
Hi.
How are you?
Fine.
I'm Hannah.
Madam.
I requested for the burrito.
Yes, please.
So I'm here for it. But this is my first time actually entering a Mexican restaurant.
Oh, really?
And I love your place. Please do, because I love the colors. I love all this inspiration and all the stuff. Tell me about the meaning of your restaurant, La Cucina Mexicana.
First of all, it's pure Mexican dishes we do. From food to drinks, everything is pure Mexican. And we opened during the COVID era, so we implement all the COVID protocols. It helped us, it gave us the opportunity to know what exactly to do and how to decorate the place. So it's pure Mexican and highly following the protocols of the COVID.
But I know Mexicans love using fresh produce for their food. Is that what you do here as well?
Yes, please. In terms of the tortillas for the burritos and the tacos, fresh corn.
Is that how you prepared mine?
Yes, please. Fresh.
Great.
To bring something up.
And all these paintings also. You just want to create some kind of relaxing atmosphere for us when we come here, because the paintings are also so cool.
And catchy too.
And catchy. And this, what's it called?
Sobrano.
Sobrano. Do you have that all the time?
Yes, please.
Not on special occasions? Okay. So I actually want to know more about, operating in a COVID era.
Okay, sure. So we put in a lot of measures. Excuse me, let me get your food.
Sure.
To show you something.
Great. That's a unique packaging.
Yes, please. As you can see, one of the measures we took is to make sure that the food is highly packed well, and also prevent it from any COVID infections or stuff. First of all, we seal it. People don't want to sell because you may have the conception that if the delivery guy opened your food or something. So we want to make sure that the food is not opened. Okay. It's sealed from the kitchen, so sealed. And we put it in the bag.
Yeah,
so this is to prevent any stains from touching the food. Everything will be under the bag because some things are just.
So when I take it, I can easily sanitize the transparent bag.
Yes, please. And you can pick it.
Throw it away before I touch it.
Yes,
great, that's great. What else did you put in place?
Okay, so
tell me more.
Yes, please. There are a lot we put in place, but then the best person to explain more is one of my managers.
Oh.
Yes, please. She's sitting there right there. I can take it to.
Let's go over. Okay. Hello. How are you?
Hello.
Great. I see that you're enjoying. What's this meal? What's it called?
Tacos.
This is tacos. Oh,
yeah.
right. So I was talking to Adams because I'm here to pick my burritos, but I saw this is a very nice, beautiful place, and he tells me it's new in town.
I must confess to you, it's been very challenging, but we still go the extra mile to make sure that we clean when a customer leaves, and then when a new customer comes in, we clean in front of them, because they don't know what we've done when they were away. So, to make them comfortable, we do that. With our staff also, we try to run periodic COVID tests for them. We get them vitamin C's and multivitamins to boost their immune system, and we always ensure that, we instill in them the fear of COVID, because at the end of the day, we can do all we can, but then when they get home, they need to understand that they need to protect themselves, because it's not all about our external customers. Our internal customers are key. We need them also.
That's very cost intensive.
Yes, it is.
Tell somebody about this, how you can still go ahead with all the measures, especially when it's new.
Yeah. It's the passion You know, right now, we're not looking at the profit we're making. You know, it's more of, you know, making sure that we give our customers the best. Because if you look through our menu, our food is very affordable. But, you know, at the end of the day, it's very cost effective, but we have to do what we have to do to protect our internal customers and our external customers. Okay. And we pray that very soon the world gets normal again.
La Cocina Mexicana, that's what you get when you come here. I mean, I'm literally very hungry now. I came here to pick my order, but I ended up conducting this interview. I think it's about time I take my meal. So Adams, I think I need my package now, and then I'll go enjoy. For the record, I ordered burritos. You can join me after the show for yours. Thank you. Catch you. Thank you so much, Ayo. Thank you, and I wish you all the best.
The burritos looks quite yummy. I may want to try one. All right, so take a break on Joy News Prime with more business and sports.
You're welcome back to business. Businesses, restaurants, and event centers that often cash in on Easter holidays have had their hopes dashed. Now, this is due to government and security agencies resolving to strictly enforce COVID-19 protocols. So the usual activities that often land in some good revenue for businesses may not happen. But in this report, several businesses in Kumasi are finding alternative means of remaining relevant in these uncertain times of COVID-19. Here's more.
Do you all remember when Ghana recorded the first 3 COVID-19 cases? Do you remember how much a bottle of hand sanitizer was going for? At first, a small bottle, I bought mine at 2 cedis, but later the price shot up to 10 Ghana cedis. Look where we are now. People are even begging us to buy their hand sanitizers, and some people are even giving it to us for free.
Salons record high sales during Easter celebrations, but Dinah Akwabwabosompem, a beautician and cosmetologist, had to close her salon last year due to the pandemic.
So last year, Easter, we were on lockdown, so the salon was closed, but we were selling our products online.
To stay in business, she switched to the manufacturing of hand sanitizers. Sales were good.
So last year, when COVID came, we had a backup plan and another business model which was not part of the initial plan of 360 Naturals. We went into hand sanitizer production. So last year during this period, the money or the business that sustained 360 Naturals was the hand sanitizer production or the hand sanitizer business.
However, the sale of hand sanitizers is slow this year. She attributes it to the COVID vaccines and the adherence to safety protocols.
Right now, you can all attest to it. Hand sanitizer usage has really gone up. And the most important thing is the client wants it cheap, but the raw material to make quality hand sanitizers are not cheap. And generally, the patronage has gone down.
Today, the sale of sanitizer on the market has declined. Hand sanitizers purchased last year are still sitting in shops of some traders.
Sales were good last year, but it is low this year. The sale of hand sanitizers is slow. The vaccine has accounted for this low sales. I am not selling the sanitizers again. 2 months ago.
Dinah and some of her colleagues who invested heavily in the sale of COVID prevention materials are recounting losses.
I know people who invested and took another business model out of COVID, and now they've regretted, like the face shield, the face mask, but with 360. And we everything that we do it strategically. We don't just go in with all our resources. So for hand sanitizer, we targeted quarterly 4 months. So from April, May, June, July, then the sales started dropping. As at now, I have volumes of hand sanitizer base sitting at the warehouse.
Easter is here and Dinah is back to her cosmetic business. She does not regret switching to manufacture hand sanitizers.
We've never regretted. That time, that was the best decision that we took.
In this year's Easter season, businesses like Dinah's and other sanitizer producers will have to find alternative ways to stay afloat. Mona Lisa Frimpong reporting.
Now, petty traders who were evicted from the Kumasi Central Market can now apply for a custom-made loan facility to help them restart their businesses. To make room for phase 2 of the market redevelopment project, a number of traders were displaced from the market. Some of the traders say that they are struggling to restart their trade. The Ichima Komwa Rural Bank says that there are innovations to help businesses stay afloat amidst COVID-19 and other challenges. Nanaya Aljima has more in this report.
The commencement of the second phase of the KGTR redevelopment project has become imminent as deadline for assessing loan contracted for the purpose recedes. The city authorities designated Efiakobi and Racecourse markets to resettle the traders. But some traders complained the setup did not fit their trading needs, compelling them to spend more money to furnish their spaces. Board chairman of Achimakwauma Rural Bank, Patrick also tells Love Business the bank is prepared to help traders who are cash-strapped.
We deal with credit issue on individual basis and case by case, depending upon the caliber of the client. So we don't have a wholesale this thing for everybody. We approach you, we deal with you, but all said and done, the rationale is to ensure that our clients stay in business. We give them flexible means to settle their loans if they have some sort of challenges. So we are still dealing with our clients. We want them to stay in business. We want them to help them so that the banking business will thrive and their business too will thrive.
Meanwhile, the bank has supported traders at the Racecourse market with sanitation and hygiene materials.
We seek to help the communities, especially from where we operate. So giving to the community has always been a tradition of the bank.
Leadership of the traders expressed gratitude for the gesture. Nana Chewa is market queen.
Racecourse that them na call Bantima, and they assign about Racecourse.
She says, this is a huge gesture. We sent requests to many companies, but you are the first to respond. Otunfo brought us some in the peak of the pandemic, but we needed more. For Joy Business, Nanaya Aljima reporting.
The Canadian government has supported the country with developmental projects worth about $50 million over the last 2 years. According to the Canadian High Commissioner to Ghana, Kati Chabab, about $150,000 is being channeled into the agricultural sector and other support schemes to help the country achieve sustained economic growth. Head of Joy Business, Odilia Ntiamoa, has been speaking to her.
We are making women and girls the very center of every program that we support. So we know that this is the best way to support poverty reduction and also to support every country's sustainable development goals.
It's obvious that COVID-19 has deepened the poverty levels, especially in developing countries, and from this. Is there anything, or is there going to be any shift in this direction towards even the funding amounts and, of course, the projects and programs these programs will concentrate on?
Well, we know that women have been affected by COVID-19 in a number of ways, including in health, but also in their economic capacity. And so the work that we're doing already supports women in responding and rebounding, but we have, of course, taken the opportunity to reorient or to pivot some of our projects so that they can respond more immediately to some of those immediate challenges. So yes, we are, and we have also put in place certain projects that were specific to support the COVID-19 relief efforts. But all of the programs that we are funding here will, in their own way, be able to contribute to the economic recovery from COVID-19.
Is there anything you're doing in the area of vaccination in terms of donations or anything?
Well, Canada is a very proud funder and sponsor of the COVAX facility, which, as you know, was put in place to ensure that all lower and middle income countries around the world would have access to at least a minimum number of vaccines as a donation. And so we were very proud to be one of the funders of the COVAX facility from the very start. And so we know that when Ghana became the first country to receive its component of its first allotment of vaccines a few weeks ago, we were proud to be one of the donors that had made that possible.
Yes. Tell us, Ambassador, tell us about these 4 new programs that you have just launched and when they are taking effect, how many women will be affected in general?
So the 4 projects that I announced today, some of them have already just gotten started in terms of work. Others are in the process of preparing to start their activities. But overall, between the 4 of them, we are contributing a total of 30 million Canadian dollars, and that is going to provide support to approximately 31,000 Ghanaian women and girls.
And that's how we end business. My name is Charles Aite. The program continues.
Welcome to the second part of Sports on Joy News Prime with me, Muftau Nabila Abdullahi. Last week, a Ghanaian referee, Charles Bulu, collapsed whilst officiating an African Cup of Nations qualifier involving Cote d'Ivoire and Ethiopia. There are fears that his chances of handling matches at the top level has come to an end. However, referees manager of the Ghana Football Association, Alex Cote, who is also a CAF and FIFA referees instructor and assessor, says he still has a chance of getting opportunities at the top. Bulu was unable to complete an African Cup of Nations qualifier involving Cote d'Ivoire and Ethiopia. With barely 10 minutes to end proceedings, the Ghanaian referee appeared to have felt dizzy and needed the support of players before medics took care of him. Referees manager of the Ghana Football Association, Alex Cote, attributed his inability to complete the game to dehydration.
I don't have problem when you talk about fitness. In fact, anytime you call him to come around, he will come around. I mean, the guy is always fit. I mean, he's a migration officer, and so training-wise and whatever. I mean, he goes to the gym. He's always training. So for me, fitness was not his issue. From my chat with them, they left their hotel around 9:30 in the morning. The match was at 1 p.m. Very sunny, hot weather. So they took their breakfast right around 9, and they had to leave the hotel around 9:30. So here is a match we are playing at on that hot weather, 1 p.m. with just breakfast. Maybe they could have organized some fruits with them and then try to take it and then drinking more water. Okay, because if they knew the time of the match, the only thing they should have been doing was to take in more liquid, more fruit, just to replenish their energy and that sort of thing. Basically, it has to be dehydration for.
Concerns have been raised about the fitness of Charles Bulu. Many have said that his failure to see off a 90-minute football match could affect him in subsequent FIFA and CAF assignments. However, Alex Corte insists this was probably a one-off and he's confident that it wouldn't affect the Ghanaian referee.
No, I don't think so. I think that what FIFA CAF has requested for is for his medicals to be sent to them, and so we will send it. I mean, we have his medicals and everything here, and I believe that even at the hospital, the doctors would also even have to give a report about him, and so I don't think that is a risk at all. I mean, these are things that happen in association sports, you understand, and football is not an exception.
Charles Bulu is an immigration officer and also a FIFA and a CAF referee. The incident witnessed last week shows that the Ghana Football Association and the referee committee must ensure Ghanaian referees are given the needed training and medicals. The good news is that after a few days of being hospitalized, Charles Bulu returned to the country yesterday. Now let's do something on the fixtures of the Ghana Premier League. The second round, which began today after a month hiatus. Great Olympics defeated Midiama SC by a goal to nil. But now let's take a look at the remaining fixtures for match day 18. Asante Kotoko will travel to Techiman to face Techiman 11 Wonders on Saturday. That games will be happening tomorrow. More fixtures on Sunday. Brekum Chelsea, they will stay at the Brekum City Park and play host to Legon City's House of Oak will host Adriana Stars. Bechim United will play Liberty Professionals. Elmina Sharks will host Ebusua Dwarfs in the Central Regional Derby. King Faisal, they will also be playing West African Football Academy, that is WAFA. Dreams FC and Interallies, they will play at the Theatre of Dreams in Deu. That is the new home of Interallies too, after the GFA decided to hand them an opportunity of changing a venue from the Accra Sports Stadium to the Deu Stadium. And Karela at the Enyinasi Park, they will play in Ashanti Gold. Those will be the matches for match week 18 in the Ghana Premier League. These matches will be played without spectators witnessed, as we witnessed earlier today. GFA rescinded an earlier decision to admit 25% venue capacity after a meeting with the government COVID-19 task force. Some fans of the game are unhappy with the move by the Ghana Football Association.
In fact, I miss it a lot because when the Premier League was going on in the first round, as for me, I'm Kotoko fan. So if my team Kotoko was playing where at their house, I know they get a chance to go and they're not allowed any supporter to go to stadium. It's very painful. Not only me, any football fan.
Of course, I don't feel happy when I'm watching the football from home. So I always want to go to stadium and watch the match.
It feels so bad, and football, you can't play soccer without fans, and the fans are those that cheer you up as a player. So playing a soccer without the fans, it's not.
Yeah, many young say, yeah, league. We're gonna Premier League now fans. Enko. About as a players who how ambassador feel because Obisha go cry. Say no besi ajinani. Oh who how ambassador ajinani. So I door and I coach so omu pressure be my door so. What me dey? I change his beers omu here. Omu but omu outdoors basa. That one I know the fear.
There are hopes that by the time we get to match day 2021-22 of the Premier League season, spectators might just be allowed to return to the stadia to support their favorite teams. That's all time will permit us here for sports on Joy News Prime with me, Muftau Nabila Abdullahi. However, we've got a lot of stories, sports stories to be precise, on myjoyonline.com/sports and also our social media handles. Join us tomorrow at exactly 7 a.m. for a repeat of GPL Primer on Sports Review, and join Nathaniel Atto at 12:15 p.m. as he brings you Sports Link.
And that's how we wrap up the bulletin tonight. My name is Aisha Ibrahim. Many thanks for watching. There is more news when you log on to myjoyonline.com. A lot of updates of the developing stories. These are some of the headlines you'll be seeing. Just log on to myjoyonline.com. There is more there. My name is Aisha Ibrahim. Enjoy the rest of our programs.